So the first update that I have on MIUI 12.5, and this one is a more recent one, is this new battery health screen. And this is within your settings, and it shows you an idea of what type of health your battery is at. It gives you the temperature, the number of times you charge it. As you guys can see, I like to top mine off pretty frequently, and thus my battery health is excellent. Hey guys, it's Mitchell. I've been using MIUI 12.5 in the Xiaomi EU variant now for a month. I want to talk about 10 things that I have learned about it, 10 new features, I guess you could say, and let's jump into the video. Another recent feature of MIUI 12.5 is the approximate location settings. Now, the approximate location settings allows the application to see where you are, but in a broader area, and not to know your exact or precise location. So for an application like Instagram, where I might not want that information to be collected by Instagram, I can choose to have the setting on, and it will give you this option in all of your applications that ask for your location. If you guys are enjoying this video, a like would be massively appreciated. And if you guys are on Discord, I've recently set up a Discord. The only way to find the link for my Discord is on my Twitter. Another added update is the receive notifications about app updates and app behavior. And this will essentially copy what Apple does with their iPhone when an application is using, let's say, your specific location, your specific camera, or your microphone. Now, another thing recently that was added with this is clipboard protection, and this is one that drives you crazy until you turn it off for specific applications that are going to be using your clipboard. Otherwise, essentially every time you want to use your clipboard on it, it will prevent you from doing so. Now, they have been updating this with a smart AI feature, which has been interesting, and I do notice that it is behaving in a much better way. But there's a host of new privacy features within MIUI 12.5. Some of them are really nice. Some of them are a little bit of a nuisance until they either auto learn your habits or you turn them off. Fourth added feature is the new option for multitasking. Now we can have the card tasking similar to the way it looks on iOS. Some people might really like this. I think it's a little bit less efficient than the prior way that we had multitasking in MIUI with all of the cards, simply because we can only look at really 2 items at a time here, whereas before we could pick between 4 apps that we were working with at one given time. Now, the fifth feature, or I guess maybe thing I'd want to touch on regarding this, is RAM management. Now, this is something that MIUI has been claiming they've improved upon, and I can say without a shadow of a doubt that the system resources are taking up less RAM, and I seemingly have more RAM open for apps. Although with this recent update, a lot of these apps are still force closing in the background. That said, the UI overall feels really responsive, and if I'm using a lot of applications at one time, I definitely do notice that I have enough RAM to keep everything working. Here, let's just maybe see if we can give you guys a little bit of a demonstration. That app never opened. Finished opening. Settings. So it is quite responsive. This is set to 60 frames a second, but overall, I would say that there is more RAM available, and the system UI does feel faster overall. Now, the sixth feature that I've been noticing a lot and taking advantage of in MIUI 12.5 is the sound assistant and the ability to have multiple audio sources, the ability to have the adjustment of media sounds more granularly. So depending upon if you can adjust the sound on your YouTube video as well as your Spotify app independently. And this is something that is an interesting setting to have in Sound Assistant. I have noticed some bugs with it, but overall we are still running MIUI 12.5 and it's a beta build. So expect for this to be fixed in the final version. A seventh feature in MIUI 12.5, and this is something I touched on my previous video about it, is this update with nature sounds and whatnot for your notifications. And It's something that I don't particularly enjoy, but it does make the process of using your phone just feel a little bit more enjoyable. Here we can choose Harp Seal, Narwhal, Willow Ptarmigan, Lemming, a Jaeger. We'll just change it to Jaeger, but you have all of these different themes with different animals. It's kind of a fun, playful way to change your notification settings on your Xiaomi device. Now, an eighth feature that we have in MIUI 12.5 is the smart home in the quick settings tab. And this is something that I love because of how much customizability, how quick and convenient it is, and just how nice it works overall. It's a really nice added feature, and it's something that I definitely enjoy. 9 on this list is new super wallpapers. One of the new ones is the weather wallpaper, which will mimic the weather for your specific area. And let's go ahead and apply that, and we will activate the active on display. I'm not really a fan of using active on display. I prefer the extra battery life, but here we'll add it for purposes of demonstration. And here we are with our weather wallpaper. Really cool, neat little animation that we have. Although not the most elaborate animation, I still kind of prefer some of the other ones. This one is pretty clean, and it's cool that it's dynamic. Now, the 10th and final thing that I wanted to touch on with this update is the performance, because it's something that Xiaomi has made some pretty bold claims about, and so far in my testing they seem pretty accurate. App speed opening seems to be significantly faster than it was before. You do have better RAM management, but you do have to tweak a couple of things. Now, this is something that I've been experimenting with, but essentially, in order to get the advantage of having all that extra RAM, right now we have 4.5 gigabytes of 8 free. You actually have to disable MIUI battery saver. So you have to go into apps, make sure the app has the ability to auto start, battery saver, MIUI battery saver, no restrictions. You might see some battery drain from this, but by and large, Xiaomi's battery saver is a very, very aggressive battery saver, and more often than not, you're not going to have a lot of issues if you disable this stuff in regards to losing battery life. And once you have this, it basically now keeps Xiaomi from, or it keeps MIUI from exiting this app. Another thing that you can do if it's an app that you use a lot is you can go ahead and you can lock it open, and that way when you clear apps, stuff stays open. And now let's go ahead and just see RAM management wise if I can go ahead and get better performance with these tweaks. No restrictions, auto start, yes. Okay. So let's open some more apps. And you see all the apps that I've pinned open. Let's see if those are still open. Open, 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 open. So this is a tweak, or a set of tweaks that seems to work pretty well, and it keeps at least more recent apps from closing in the background, or apps that you might use a lot. And I'm actually pretty happy with kind of this overall performance boost. That said, if you don't go through and optimize all of the apps that you frequently use to not force close in the background, then more often than not, you're not going to be seeing much of the improvements that Xiaomi is talking about in regards to performance, because I've been running this now for over a month, and it wasn't until recently that I realized that having these tweaks or these settings changed in MIUI, it was actually going to give me that advantage of having more system RAM available. So it's something that Xiaomi is kind of stepping on because of their own stubbornness for their battery saver, but it is available if you know how to kind of find it. And as you guys can see, I mean, I've got 4 or 5 apps, 6 apps open at the same time, and they're not being closed. Here. Now, I still am noticing some animation stutters in the apps, and some of that could be just because it's a beta version of it, but I mean, we're at the 1 month mark in regards to the development of this specific ROM, and the tweaks have been continuously making it better, more stable, and faster. So I am quite excited for the future of MIUI 12.5.